identify as white, I'm working class, and trans guy, gender non-conforming, queer, Buddhist, yogi, herbalist, and I mean, probably within all of that and above all that, someone who's just trying to love those around me and myself. My name's Jacoby Ballard. I am the founder of the Root Community Health Center, where we are, along with, I founded it with my partner, Green Wayland Llewellyn. We provide massage, Reiki, acupuncture, herbal medicine, yoga, and then health education workshops. I'm a yoga teacher and an herbalist, and Green is a massage therapist and an acupuncturist. And we both had worked in plenty of settings that our own communities couldn't access for the price, and then also that we didn't feel comfortable in for the race politics or for the gender politics or what presumptions that were made about our bodies. I became a yoga teacher in the process of coming out as trans. Whenever I would go to classes, one, they would cost so much money that I could go to one class a month. But when I did, often, I've been in classes where everyone else in the class was women, and it was assumed that I was too, and so just staring at my body, how can this be possible? I'm reading this person as she with a flat chest, or how are they that flexible? I thought it was a man. It's been very deliberate at Third Root to have a lot of our yoga classes be for specific communities. We've had a class for disabled people, a class for survivors, a class for people of color, queer and trans class, prenatal class, to try to provide space to welcome in people to holistic health that often don't feel comfortable getting a massage or taking a yoga class or accessing herbal medicine. And we also knew that we had to make it then at a price that people could afford, and so we set up a sliding scale. And it's really just a price that we suggest people pay. We don't ask them to bring any documentation in, and we're always asked about that, what do you need in order to, for me to pay this $68? And we always tell them we're trying to create a community of trust where you don't have to prove anything. We intentionally chose to not be a nonprofit. We chose to become a worker-owned cooperative. Those of us that have experience in social justice have really stepped away from social justice because it's not done in a healthy way, and it's especially the nonprofit model is coming from such a culture of capitalism. It's become a part of the culture of nonprofits, especially to put the health and well-being of the individual organizers to the side, because there's always work to be done, and because there's always more people suffering, and always more oppression to confront. And I think another component of how we organize is not taking care of wellness within the organization. One of the yoga teachers here, who also comes from a social justice background, says that if the individual is not well, then the group is not well, so then the community is not well, so then the country is not well. And I think that's really playing out within social justice work. And since starting Third Root, I've really seen so many powerful organizers step away from organizing to become a nurse, to become a yoga teacher, to become a massage therapist, to become an acupuncturist. And I think that not enough people are talking about why that's happening. All of that just says so much of the state of healthcare in the country and the state of healthcare in our movements. I teach a herbal education class here, and one thing that my intermediate and advanced students always come up against is the books that we give them and the books that we read, and a lot of the resources that are out there right now don't resonate with who they are. It's always a really diverse class that we have, and we know of 2 books by herbalistic coloring that we incorporate into the curriculum, but I mean, it's pretty stark, and then certainly an expansive view of gender and sexuality is never reflected in the books that we have. So I think we're kind of at a moment right now where healthcare and language and practices are getting expanded, and I'm hoping that we'll be writing the books that people will be referring to in the next 10 to 20 years. A lot of what all the practitioners that practice here have said is that they're a resource for their own community and they haven't found it, and so they have to be it. I am significant.